Hello there and welcome back to Four Tims and a Podcast. You join us on the 2nd of September and the deadline day has passed and Celtic made a grand total of one signing on deadline day. At 20 past 11 last night we finally announced Sebastian Tunecke from Hammarby for about 5.2 million. It was widely reported that we were going all out for him despite a lot of scouting reports showing that he maybe isn't the highest potential that we've chased this summer. The move for Kasper Dolberg fell through. Looks like he's going to join Ajax. Don't know if he was ever seriously going to be interested in a move to Celtic. And despite a flurry of links through the day, Fofana from Chelsea, Boy from France, and then laughably, which may still be going on actually, I say laughably, linked with Kelechi Iheanacho from Sevilla very late on, I think about 9:30 last night, and it got to the point where I think Sevilla just got fed up of dealing with us and decided to release him instead, so remains to be seen if Celtic will pursue that one. But it's myself, Darren, just here with Tony this morning as we discuss this absolute shit show of a transfer window. Obviously we've for a few weeks, if not 2 months, been harping on about how terrible this window's looked and how it could leave us in potential peril in terms of the league in Europe. We've already been knocked out of the Champions League a lot, in part due to that, many would say. So we'll go through the transfer window. We'll also look at what part the manager's played as well. He's obviously had a lot of comments to say, most recently on Friday when he said that Adam Idah wouldn't be sold without a replacement, and he in fact was sold without getting a replacement in, so just shows you how much you can trust Brendan's word now, or maybe the board just don't give a fuck about Brendan. We'll discuss that. Also, Yang's move to Birmingham City fell through. Celtic pulled the plug on it, whilst at the same time pulling the plug on a loan deal that had been agreed for Manuel Benson from Burnley. So fuck knows where we are. Tony, I'll bring you in. It's as bad as we could have hoped. I don't think there's anything positive that came from yesterday. As me, you and Danny spoke yesterday, it was sort of, I think we all were downbeat about it, but you sort of hoped maybe they would pull something out, but it truly was absolutely shambolic.
Yeah, but I've been saying it. This is like deja vu. This is Groundhog Day. I've been saying it for ages. The people running Celtic don't give a flying fuck, and they're inept. They've proven themselves to be inept countless times, over and over again. The same board for so many years. Champions League failings, transfer window failings, losing managers, fighting with the fans, not communicating. This is them. They're telling us as a fan base, we don't care about you. We hate you. Give us your money and shut the fuck up. We won't communicate with you because we hate you and you don't deserve us giving you the time to communicate. How dare you think that we will communicate with you? The manager, we're going to make him look like a tit because he's out declaring he doesn't leave him without a replacement, but know what, we're going to sell him and not replace him. I mean, the bleed for Celtic thing, Rodgers has probably kicked himself for saying that. The board bleed for Celtic. I mean, you ever heard so much shite in all your life? I mean, it's quite abundantly clear that the board don't care about Celtic, and you see people these comments always make me laugh. Fuck. Michael's a right good Celtic man. He's die-hard. I was like, I'd be a die-hard enough if I was getting that money off them. Die-hard my whole nonsense. Don't listen to these people. Peter's Celtic mad, Celtic daft. I think you should just take the Celtic away. Absolute nonsense. I mean, just the fan base taken for an absolute ride. Season tickets up. Everybody renewed. Friendly for Newcastle. Everybody piled the money in. League Cup fixture. Everybody piled the money in. And they don't invest any of it. I think you told me there that Rangers, Skintco, as probably a lot of our fans still think, they spent 8 million in a striker, which is more than we spent in the whole window. Wow, that'll get to the happy clappers, I think, because that's usually where their focus is, on the Teds. A disgraceful window. Totally and utterly disgraceful. The squad is absolutely weak as piss. I don't think it's good enough to win the league. I've said it continually. I think we'll lose the league. I have seen nothing to change my mind. The only thing that's went for us so far is Rangers have had an absolute disaster of a start. But I think they're probably now looking, after watching us, going, we should just back Martin, because all they need is to get a bit of a result, beat Hearts before we go to Killie, and if we don't beat Killie, it's all going to turn its head. There's real anger at Celtic now, massive anger, and so there should be. But what you notice with the fans, and I've commented on this before, they will not see Celtic criticised, and they will have a defence at every turn. So the first defence was, there's still plenty of time left in the window. Second defence was, you need to wait until the end of the window. Now the defence is, you just need to support the team. So there's a lot of fans that just, the idea of protest and, oh my God, the outside world will see we're not happy, we can't have this. Total nonsense, ignore them. There should be protests every game to rid us of these idiots that are running as Desmond, hopefully he sells up, Lawwell banned, Nicholson banned, rest of the board banned. That's what I would do. You ban the Green Brigade for costing you 20 grand for political displays. You should ban these people for costing us hundreds of millions in lost revenue for the Champions League. So that would be my first act as the owner. Unfortunately, I won't be the new owner of Celtic. But it's just an absolute piss take, to be honest. Like, not even an attempt to strengthen the squad. The Dolberg stuff's laughable. This whole, we were in for him. I don't think we were ever anywhere near to get that guy. I think that guy probably looked at me, please don't sell me to Celtic, for fuck's sake. And I don't know if he went to Ajax or no. I can't say I particularly care. You're hearing rumours that Michael Nicholson forgot to pick up the phone to Birmingham, or just deliberately didn't he? Which ties in with what Benjamin Seagrass said, that he couldn't get a move because people at Celtic weren't actually answering the phone or answering communications. So for me, I think we're an absolute mess. I think the board deserve for us to lose the league and the fury that will come with it. They deserve it. They deserve to be hounded in a peaceful manner. Just let me clarify that they should be hounded peacefully at every single game. They should be told to leave the club in a very peaceful manner. And it should be every time they enter the stadium, feelings should be made clear. When they're in the stadium, the feelings should be made clear. And when they leave the stadium, the feelings should be made clear that these people should leave the club. Now, let me reiterate that in an absolutely 100% peaceful, legal manner, because I know people will be saying that I'm fucking trying to incite a riot or some garbage. So, yes, they should be peacefully protested at all stages, and I think they will be. I think people have had more than enough. There seems to be such a great amount of people that are now cancelling the home cup ticket schemes, and then you see the kind of, I love the happy clapper comments. Yes, now the real fans can get tickets. If you're a real fan, how have you not got a season ticket already? Surely you should be just putting all your money into Celtic. Surely you should already be on the home cup ticket scheme. So stuff like that, just nonsense. The good thing is, all these real fans, they'll actually get charged more than people that were on the home cup ticket scheme, because the board will be looking to recuperate. So if they want to pay 50 quid to watch Celtic versus, I don't know, Strumgrass or Utrecht or whoever the fuck we're playing in the Europa, that is up to them. That is their prerogative. They can knock themselves out, but I won't be there, thankfully. No, I think the whole thing's made a mockery of the manager. It's made a mockery of the captain who demanded reinforcements. It's made a mockery of the fans, but there's no accountability. Michael Nicholson won't talk to us. I mean, any other business where your decisions have cost them 40 million in Champions League money, you have now gambled a league title which should have been a canter, you're sacked. You're sacked. Any other workplace where you're totally inept, you're sacked for your stupid behaviour and your repeated stupid behaviour. But not at Celtic, where it's just a big gang of folk who are all mates, and unfortunately we're not in the gang. So there is only so many times I can say the same stuff. I know people seem to enjoy the ranting and raving, but it does get a bit tiresome. Like, I'm saying the same things every week. Like, I don't really know what else to say. I'm not going to give up or stop, but it is so tedious, and it just didn't need to be this way. Like, the board could have spent the money and backed the manager, but they just don't care. They just don't give a fuck. We're in limbo. We don't know if the manager's going to be here next season. I don't think he will be. I mean, see for me as well, right? We knew Kyogo was gone, we knew Kuhn was gone in January, right? Obviously we kept Kuhn. So you've got 6 months of planning, you've got all the resources, all this availability, and you come up with nothing. Not one deal worth a fuck can you get done. I find that staggering. I find it quite incredible that we're paying people obviously really good money to scout and get these deals done. And then, because usually the excuse in January is that it's hard to get the deals done, but it just seems as though any deal we try today is just a nightmare. So I feel sorry for the likes of Balak Wisa and Konecki, because they're coming in and the comments in their kind of welcome posts is just, I think I've been putting stuff like, welcome Nicholson, get yourself to fuck, so just trying to welcome them, but also get the point across that the CEO should be removed, and fuck me, he should be removed as quick as humanly possible. But it's the same stuff, and look, for me, I think you can't tell other fans what to do, and I know I'm harping on about the Europa League. If people want to buy the packages and people want to attend and support the team, that's absolutely their right, and I think a lot of people will do that, and that's fine. People want to take their kids, their families, whatever. But for me, I won't give them another cent this season. And just to get back to our friend Kevin, who came back on YouTube, he says he's not a board lover, so I apologise, Kevin, for that. I think he says something went wrong with his season ticket. I understand, don't get me wrong, I don't just think it's the board that are inept. I think the fact that our ticket office is a shed in front of the stadium is a disaster as well. There's just so many different things that I think are going wrong at Celtic. So Kevin's declared he agrees with 95% of the things I say. Should be 100%, Kevin, but I'll let you off for the 5%. I was going to make a point there, and it's went out my head because I started talking about Kevin. He's a feature on the show now. I don't know, it was probably something to do with sacking the board or removing him. Yes, I was saying I wouldn't give them another cent, so even if it is cup tickets, I wouldn't be going in for them either. I've just zero interest. It's sad to say, and obviously the old spoiled and titled stuff coming out, but we're 4 games into the season, and if I give my honest opinion, I can't wait till the season's finished.
I sort of get that feeling as well. I think it's been an absolutely scandalous fucking transfer window. I don't know any business, even if, look, we all know Celtics are a football club, it's our life, but it's clearly been run as a business. But the fact is, I don't know any business like McDonald's or Sainsbury's or whoever, Ford, look, I can't think of any business that would be run like this where they have such disdain for their customers and they put so little into improving their product. We are so stale, and somebody said that we, pretty much since Andrew's first season, we've been going weaker and weaker from window to window, and this one is really right up there in terms of how bad it is. Like, we released an episode on the 30th of July called The Broken Transfer Window. Now, that was five and a half weeks ago or whatever, and since then we signed Jemai Simpson-Pusey on a loan. I think we maybe signed Yamada the next day actually, but then Pusey was 2 weeks later, still hasn't kicked a ball, and then everything geared up to deadline day. You had the manager coming out saying, we do our best work late in the window. Sometimes these deals only become available late in the window. You had the fucking captain coming out sort of patronising the fans, saying, everybody's impatient, we need to make sure we get the right quality. Well, now we've nothing. We've not even got quantity rather than quality, and we signed the boy Taneki, as you say. A shame for him, he's done nothing wrong yet, but on the announcement tweet on Twitter, I think within 15 minutes it had 1,000 replies, and I have to say I'm pretty sure that most of them weren't anything to do with him, so he might get a bit of a shock every time he hit translate tweet and seen what the supporters' reaction was to him signing. And I hope he doesn't take it personally. I hope he, likes of him and Balikwisha, can see that it's not to do with him. There's just so much unrest within the support at the moment. It makes a mockery of what Rodgers says about everybody pulling in the same direction, and how Nicholson and whoever's, they're such great Celtic men and they would die for the club, but now they're doing the opposite. They're actually killing the club because they're making a mockery of us. We've already started the season poorly in terms of performances, and you know what, seeing the league, we've not played anybody either. That St Mirren team, I know they finished top 6, but they're probably the most well set up team we've come up against yet, and it took a last minute deflected goal to beat them at Celtic Park. The Livingston game, they're a poor team, always they've never won at Celtic Park, but even they held us till half time. The Aberdeen game, they are sitting bottom of the league on 0 points after another home defeat to Falkirk, so I think that they'll, I've said to you before, I think they'll be a bottom 6 team this year, although they actually made a few decent signings yesterday with the likes of Kevin Nisbet and the boy, I think it's Carlson from Bologna, who gave us a bit of a torrid time in Europe a few years ago, so they actually done something to maybe rectify how their season will go, but we'll see about that. And then obviously you've got a Rangers team who are having the worst start to the season since the 1980s, whatever version of Rangers it is, and even we couldn't even beat them. So I think there's a long way to go in this season. We might be 6 points ahead of Rangers and level with Hearts and goal difference, but it won't be long before, I know we've got Hibs at Celtic Park at the end of September, but then we've got Rugby Park coming up. We've dropped points there in the last few seasons. We've got games like Tynecastle in October. We're going to be hit with even tougher fixtures whilst trying to manage a European campaign as well. And the way they've set us up, the Idah thing, I lost my shit on Twitter last week about it and started arguing with people because the way that was celebrated, now, regardless of what your thoughts on Adam Idah's ability as a Celtic player, the way that was celebrated by a lot of the support was a disgrace. The fact that you couldn't see what was happening all around you, that's now 3 of our top 4 scorers from last season been sold, and the amount of goals that have been taken out of the team, how people as recent as last week couldn't see how poor our transfer window has been, how poor our squad was, and they were just so happy to get rid of Adam Idah. Well done, yous have got rid of him, and we currently don't have a first choice striker. You're looking at Shin Yamada, you're looking at Callum Osmond, you're looking at Johnny Kenny, and you're looking at shifting Daisamai out of position. Now, Yamada's sort of just floating about. I know a few people were impressed with him on Sunday, but he's not done it in a note really. Maybe he will if he gets around the team. But then the other two, you've got Callum Osmond, who was brought in, you were told, he's for the first team. Hasn't kicked the ball for the first team yet, probably going to end up in the B team. And then Johnny Kenny, who at the start of this window, I'm pretty sure we were actively negotiating with Bolton to sell him, and now he's ended up one of your first choice strikers. It's if it wasn't your club, it'd be laughable. And to me, Rodgers has been a disgrace or some of his comments. He's went way past the line of being a shield for the board. He's actually actively defended them, knocked back the supporters' concerns. That comment as well about when the fans were singing sack the board, and he brought it in and says, it usually means sack the manager. Maybe he's wanting to be sacked. Maybe, I know he's doubled down every time about how he's not going to walk. Maybe he wants to be sacked along with him, and you know what, I don't care if he does. If that meant getting rid of everybody, then he can go as well. That's not a problem by me, because he's completely lost any sort of connection they had with a lot of the support, including us. Like, we were probably known as one of the podcasts that would very rarely criticise Rodgers and had full belief in what he was doing. But for me, it's not the case anymore. If he doesn't go now, I'm counting down the days till the end of this season. So, because I think we really need a fresh start, and that goes from the squad to the manager to the boardroom. I think we need a complete sort of sweep of the club. And look, I'm with you. I'm not buying European games. I'm not encouraging anybody to boycott it, but I'm happy to say what I'm doing, because I just think, look, I'm only one person. I can only make so much of a difference, but I'm not getting on the European money. I won't be buying food and drink in Celtic Park, and I won't be. Like, Christmas coming up, I've got a young daughter, I've got family that I'll usually go in the Celtic shop and just spend a few £100 in there to get them presents. I won't be doing that this year. I cannot justify giving them any more money. They don't invest my money, and they don't invest the money that they've got. You can say whatever you want about Rangers. They're playing with their money on the park. Ours is in the bank. If we lose a league, it's because we have failed to try and spend it. And there was a laughable clip put up yesterday. It's not really laughable, but I think it was from Peter Lawwell in 2014, where he was out and apologising for us not qualifying for the Champions League and the criticism of the lack of investment. And I believe the quote was, he says that every penny that comes into the club will be reinvested. Well, he should, even in a non-executive chairman role, he should be walking for that now. Or he should choose to resign or be sacked, because the fact that was says, they're openly making a mockery of the support. Tony's right, they do not care. They just want to bleed you dry, and the only way you can send a message to them is to hit their bottom line, which will then in turn affect their salaries and their bonuses. Now, you might say, say it's an outside company that do catering and that, but if people just stop buying it, then next time it comes up for a contract negotiation about who's going to do the catering in the stadium, then that should earn them less money. As I say, same with the Superstore and whatever. I just won't give them the money. And then European tickets. It's alright. I think in years gone by they would have been snapped up, no bother, but I do not think we will sell out for any Europa League game. And look, with that Kairat game, I'm pretty sure didn't sell out. So I know it was late notice with tickets going on sale for that, but how you're going to see an increase on that attendance would just be... I'd be a bit staggered if we actually did sell out. And good luck to anybody who wants to go. As you say, Tony, I'm with you. I'm not going to hold it against anybody if they want to go. Look, a lot of people can only get to games at certain points. If they want to go and sell it part, and fair dues, but they've got my season ticket money, they got my qualifying money, they got my League Cup money, but I won't be giving them another penny this season. And it's just... I've seen a lot of people, and it's people who... I've seen people who I know who go home and away every week, have done as long as I know them, who are now emailing the ticket office saying, take me off the Home Cup ticket scheme. Now, it might be alright saying, oh aye, but you'll still go to that game, but the whole point of the Home Cup scheme generally is that people get a better chance of getting semi-final tickets and final tickets. So that is such a big decision for people to make, that they know that they're going to minimise their chance if we get into semi-finals and finals getting tickets for Hampden, and that should be the highlight of your season. And yet there's going to be people who have been gone home and away for years who are now probably going to be ruled out of that because of the way. Celtic will just probably cater to whoever's left in the home cup scheme and then sell the rest as corporate. That's what they've been doing for Hampden for a few years now, and you know what's even the money you save no buying a Europa League package. You could probably afford one of their corporate packages for a final against them if we get them anyway, so who knows what you want to do. But I just want to bring up as well before I pass back to Tony, the way we've treated our players. It's not just the supporters that we've treated like shite, it's the players as well. I put a tweet out last night, the likes of last season, or it might have been the season before, when we sent Lager Bielka to Lecce and then told him, no, you need to come back, we're actually going to keep you. That was sort of, no, at the time we didn't realise it, but that sort of shows how we've been treating our players, where we're telling them one thing and then changing our mind. You obviously Benjamin Seagrass, who was out in a podcast getting a bit of behind the scenes. Who would have thought that he would have been one of the heroes of the transfer window for coming out and exposing the way they treat players? And even Stephen Welsh, I know he went to Motherwell late last night, but weeks and maybe a month ago, like, Plymouth had a deal agreed with him. I think there was an option to buy as well, and we just hesitated, and I don't think we even responded in the end, and Plymouth moved on and signed somebody else. Now, Welsh might go on and do well at Motherwell and then come back to us a better player or a more sellable asset, but the fact we had a club down south who were ready to put their money in to Stephen Welsh and had the option to buy, there's every chance we'll now be kept with Stephen Welsh next summer, can probably give him a new contract the way we go. There's sort of no long-term planning, and it's no long-term planning for him as well, so it's unfair on the player. And then obviously the free this summer, Marco Tilio was basically held hostage by Celtic until we signed somebody else, and we pretty much didn't until the last days of the transfer window. Adam Idah, of course, was the whole debacle about last week, we spoke about it, but was sent to Swansea, brought back, no use on Sunday, and then sent back, and then he was sort of obviously left in limbo, not knowing what was happening, especially with Rodgers' comments about no selling him without a replacement. And then obviously you had Yang yesterday as well, who travelled to Birmingham expecting Celtic to sanction a deal, was apparently told that he would be able to leave this transfer window. He's been a model professional in terms of he's played plenty of games and was clearly happy to stay until Celtic were ready to sell him, and then it looks like he'll be staying. I know there was a Belgian team linked to him who've got another week to go on their deadline day, but it's clear that Celtic just were so poorly run, and Nicholson and Lawwell have to be fucked out the club because the optics of them being there, even if they're not fully responsible, I know, like, probably we'll probably come out and we'll sack that Paul Tisdale guy. He'll probably be the one that takes a hit for it because he's the last into the boys club, so he'll be the first out, and everything will just sort of continue. You'll replace him with somebody else who'll probably sound alright in his first interview, but then he'll do whatever he's told by likes of Desmond and whoever. So they need to be sent out, and I've said it before, if Desmond had any sort of care for Celtic, he would be speaking to the Celtic Trust or whoever. I know they've got their AGM tonight and I hope it goes well, but he'd be speaking to them or putting out an open letter to supporters saying, look, if you can raise this amount of capital, I'm willing to sell for this amount. And the feeling in the support, I'm pretty sure Celtic fans would have a good go at buying him out and having the club more fan-led. And I think that's just me dreaming that would happen, but can't really see it. But that's for me what has to happen. As I say, like, people can protest and argue and whatever they want, and as Tony said, we would never encourage anything other than peaceful protesting, but these guys should be hounded at every opportunity when they're going into Celtic Park. As we say, just they should be let know. I want these people to be at Celtic Park and be asked by their friends and family, why do they keep singing that about you, why are they so against you, what's went on, because they should have to explain themselves to everybody about what's went wrong and why the majority of match-going Celtic fans have uttered disdain for them and want them out of the club. We'll see what happens with that. I know it's a few weeks before we're back at Celtic Park. I know you've got the foundation game, and then we've got a couple of away games in Kilmarnock and Belgrade, and then Partick Thistle in the League Cup before we're back at that Hibs game. But I just hope that we're in a decent position when we come back to that, and we don't, I hate to say it, but if we don't win like two out of the 3 games, then I wouldn't be overly surprised, because I think the squad's in real peril, and I don't think it's strong enough to compete in the Europa League, and I don't think there's enough depth to sort of compete on both fronts as well. But Tony, I'll take a quick word on Brendan. As we said, we've been massive fans of Brendan as long as we've done this podcast pretty much, and we were delighted when he came back, but this summer for me has been really damaging for him, and all his comments, like, if he hadn't come out and said so very often that he wasn't going to walk, then I think he would have real reason to just pack it up today. But what do you think Brendan's response will be to this? Do you think that he will come out and have a real go at the board, or do you think it'll be a case of he'll give the party line about how, look, we've got a good squad here, we've got to work with it till January and we'll just get on with it?
I think he'll downplay it. If he's going to stay, then that's fine. If that's what he wants to do, then fine. But if he'll need to defend the squad. He can't come out and go, fucking hell, what a heap of shite I've been left for. There's no point in doing that because the squad will turn. He's a smart guy. I think he'll try and have a go at the board, but at the same time, kind of put out a united front. But surely he must be talking to them now, going, what the fuck are you doing? You have made me look a total fucking idiot. I'd like to think he's regretting some of the comments. I hope he is. I know I get kind of hounded a wee bit because I'm a kind of Brendan defender, but I just think some of the best days of my life supporting Celtic, he's been the manager. And I think he's been reasonably successful since he returned. But it's in real danger of him leaving in a real sure note with the title going the other way. And I don't think that would be all his fault. I know he's getting criticism for his style of play, but I think the players he's got, I said before, I think there's a good 5 or 6 year players that wouldn't get a game for Hearts. So obviously he's getting paid a lot of money and he keeps getting this elite manager thing levelled at him. I don't think he is an elite manager. I think I maybe have said previously he is, but going by the Derby results and obviously Kairat Almaty, I don't know if he is elite. I think he's a good manager and a very good coach, and hopefully he can coach these guys that we've brought in to the title. But for me, I think he's said some comments that are really incredible. I just thought this club will invest 5 million in some guy for Hammerby. That's not proper investment, fucking hell. So I can understand a lot of fans have turned on him, and I think they're right to. I think for somebody who's taking 3 million a year out the club to be telling us that the guys that are taking more money out the club and not reinvesting are bleeding for Celtic it was very insulting. And then, we've got a majority owner who's very intelligent as well. He's intelligent when it comes to fucking airports. He's not a director of football. He's an old guy that spends his days fucking playing golf. He's not a football guy, He maybe, it doesn't matter how fucking intelligent you are. I mean, fucking, there's loads of intelligent people out there, but it doesn't mean you want them running Celtic. So, I think, to be honest, see if it was up to me, the best thing I think he could do is release a statement today and say, look, I'm resigning. The Celtic board are incompetent. The majority shareholder is also incompetent. I'm very sorry I backed these people. I take it back. I was just trying to unify the club, but I have to resign for the good of Celtic. And then that's just fucking everybody can just descend upon Celtic Park to protest, something like that. I think that would be doing the Celtic fans a big favour. But I think he is desperate to make it up to people for leaving. I think he's desperate to leave the league title. And I think there's obviously major issues with him in the board. I know he's saying this, it's all kind of kumbaya, my lord. That can't be true. Like, surely they're not going, what a window, this is great, we're brilliant. I mean, that just can't be happening. If that's happening, we're in fucking bigger trouble than we think. And I think we're in a fucking absolute world of trouble big time here. But it just feels a wee bit 2020, 2021 season where there's no communication, the wheels are about to come off. This feels as just before the wheels come off, because obviously the happy clapper has taught the news, we're 6 points clear of Sevco and they're garbage and yada yada yada, but I get a feeling that very shortly we won't be 6 clear, we'll be a lot closer to them. And I think Hearts might keep up the pressure as well. So it's hard to gauge how many people have totally turned on the board. I think quite a lot have, and I'm hoping that's the case, that it's a majority of season ticket holders. And I'm hoping hopefully the Europa, they need to close the top tier. For me, that would be the best thing that could happen, because that would be a real message. And I know some people say, no, you can't hit the club financially. I don't want the club to make another penny with these people in charge. I want the club hit financially, because it's the only way we're going to get change. It is for the greater good that the club gets hit financially now and we get a change. If that happens, then we'll be better off. I'm absolutely convinced we'll be better off if we can get rid of these people, because if you get the right ownership in, the Celtic fans will pile in the cash. We've piled into the cash to the wrong ownership for years. If you get the right people in it are willing to invest, we'll pile in the cash, we'll buy your strips, get back in the home cup scheme, we'll pay 30 quid to watch Celtic v fucking Berwick Rangers in the League Cup at home. That is, fine. See if they were reinvesting, I'd pile more money in, that's no bother. But these people don't want it, they don't care, as I says. And I think for me, thinking back 4 years ago, I actually seen it on our YouTube, I think it was maybe just over 4 years ago, we met Dom Mackay and Ange Postecoglou. And Dominic Mackay's come in, and obviously the fan podcast had absolutely slated the board, and his idea was the Celtics should communicate with them. I think that would have pissed off a lot of people at Celtic, the idea that these guys, these silly podcasts, these stupid fans have been slagging us and you're now inviting them in. I think they'd have felt quite insulted by that, and you see how quickly they get rid of him. Again, Dom, if you're ever listening, we would love to have you in a podcast. Absolutely love it. But I don't think that guy's ever been seen since they booted him out the bowling club. So the manager, all over the place, but he's still managed to get a couple of decent domestic results. The board, please leave immediately, for fuck's sake. Desmond, dickhead, doesn't give a fuck about Celtic, as it was said before. It's just a toy for him. And I think for every sack the board chant, every dissenting voice against him, he'll dig his heels in, and he'll dig his heels in because he can, because he's arrogant, because he's a billionaire, because he probably looks at people like us and goes, oh my God, how fucking dare you come out against me? I think he'll dig his heels in. It could be an almighty battle to get him to fuck off, which is a shame. I think we're at a real kind of big moment for the club. I think this could be a real turning point. I think a lot of fans are fed up. I think a lot of people are fed up with things in general at the minute, and that might lead to even more anger, which would be helpful. So for me, I think protests will probably come, which is good. A boycott of merchandise and kind of extra tickets, I'm hoping continues. I'm hoping the club feel it financially, and that kind of hurts to say that I want Celtic to be punished financially, but I genuinely think it's the only way. I think we genuinely need to take drastic steps to get these people out, because they are harming the club immensely with the continued failures of qualification, the continue of squad mismanagement. They're hurting us more than any fan ever could, or any outsider who hates us ever could. So for me, they need to just keep hurting them. And as I say, we're only two guys talking shite in a podcast, but that's a few quid we can take off them. If there's another 30,000-40,000 that are doing the same thing, it'll soon add up. So yeah, I think just any opportunity to apply pressure to them, it has to be done. Hopefully more banners. My prediction is they'll probably move to ban the Green Brigade and the boys to kind of lower the dissent. You know what they're like, they banned us for their press conferences because we retweeted something calling Lawwell and his son, retweeted something that called Lawwell's son a bastard. So it wasn't even our tweet, but we get banned for retweeting that. Retweets aren't always an endorsement, but let me tell you something, that one certainly was.
Oh, there goes any chance of us ever getting back in. Aye, that's a reminder, no matter what you see on Twitter and how players get abused and that, just remember you cannot utter a word against a certain family who are involved with Celtic, or else you'll lose all your access to ask new signings what their favourite Celtic song is and if they've ever seen us playing in the Champions League. But I'm completely fucking done with it. I'll never give up until they're out. And look, I want to spend my money on Celtic. Celtic's my release. I work all week and I should be looking forward to going to every Celtic game, but I feel that we're on the edge of a cliff, and unfortunately for us, I think it's the board, Nicholson, Lawwell, Desmond, Mackay, whoever. But I feel that they're the ones that are about to push us off it. And the thing is, it'll be us that suffer. They're no caring. They're millionaires already, billionaires in the case of Desmond, and their life won't be affected if Celtic lose the league, but our days will, and that's why we need to continue the push to remove them from the club. And like I say, it feels like everybody that I see, but is sort of thinking the same way and wants to protest in some manner. And look, it's no like COVID, it's no, you've got no restrictions about where you can be, and there's no going to be empty stadiums, so you'd like to think that means they can't hide from us and that they'll feel the full wrath of the support, but it remains to be seen. But well over the half hour mark, so I think I'm going to can it there while we still have a modium of sanity amongst us. Obviously, if Celtic do announce it, and I very much doubt it, if they announce 7 free agents that have just happened to pick up the day, or if they sack Nicholson or sack Tisdale, or maybe Brendan will walk, we'll get together. But I think we're going to need a few days to recover from this shit show of a transfer window. It's took them 3 months to string it out and not get much done, and actually make Celtic a lot weaker. Who knows how long the repercussions of that will take to sort of reverberate. But hope you are doing well, and I appreciate all the support we've had the last few weeks for the podcast, and it's probably the biggest support we've had since the COVID season, so maybe we're just the sort of smash here if Celtic are in crisis podcast. But if that's what we are to you, then fair play, and we'll still be here to try and hold the bastards to account. We'll be here throughout the full season, so make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening. As I say, all the comments, etc., we do appreciate it, and we'll be back Don't know when, hopefully with some positive news, but positive news would probably mean people getting sacked, so it could be a while. But we'll be back before Celtic are back in action as well, and hopefully discussing things with a bit more positivity. But let us know what you think of this episode. We appreciate all the comments. I know there's been a lot on YouTube especially, so if you want to join in the chat, jump out there and get involved, and maybe you could take the place of Kev Carr next week and get your comment read out with Tony. But cheers for listening. We'll speak to you later at some point in September. Hail hail.